Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I've got some really bad news for those of you who are watching this online. You can't enjoy the free chocolates that the Easter Bunny has left. So thank you very much, Mr. Mazalis. I assume they're Belgian chocolates? Yes, so thank you, Bel. The one thing I'm surprised about is there's any left after the staff actually got their hands on them first. They've been asking me for weeks, Patrick, when's the Easter Bunny coming? When's the Easter Bunny coming? But we do digress. Forwards. I've not got my glasses on, so I can't work out which is the button marked forward. There we go. Now, I have to say that I've got absolutely nothing to do with this presentation, but yes, it's sort of halo, or maybe not. And I still blame Peter Coburn for the ties. Anyway, good afternoon, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm absolutely delighted to see not a spare seat. I'm sure that's something to do with the chocolates. But this concept came together around about a year ago now, if I'm honest, where we've got all these wonderful digital services at the Royal. And we said, well, wouldn't it be great if we actually told people how to use them? So I thought, good idea. What we need is somebody called the chairman of the IT committee to organise something. Mr. Bailey, over to you.
Can everyone at the back hear me? Yes? No? Good. Is this thing on, Mark? Yeah. Right. Anyway, we'll move on from that one. So, about the digital services at the Royal. This afternoon, you're going to hear from me about the Society's website, and then from Jeff Ibel-Kay regarding the archival edition of the London Flat List, and then Mark Copley will talk to us about the scanning services that we have here at number 41. The topics I'll be covering are up there. We'll be having a quick look at the structure of our website. We'll then look at the specifics to do with information that you see if you log in as a member. If you haven't logged in as a member already, perhaps you're not already registered as a member, we'll look at subject of user registration. Briefly look at the handouts and videos that are available through the website, page of Society business, and also the online shop. Those are the topics I'll be covering in the next quarter of an hour. So, the structure of the website. There is a lot on there, and what we've tried to do is break it down into manageable chunks. And as you can see, we have some main pages that cover news and key information, and for each of them, there are sub-menus below the main menus. And as I mentioned, there'll be more about Society business very soon. We've also got pages for the four main research resources that we have. So the museum, the archive, the collections, and of course the library. In addition, obviously one of the things that the Royal does, as we know, is publish publications. There's a section on that on the website. The events that we hold, including of course our programme of events, meetings here and regional meetings. And also what our experts, the expert committee do. They have their own set of pages on the website as well. At the heart of being able to do research and to quickly find information about what we have by way of information at the Royal, we have the catalogue. For those that haven't yet joined, why haven't they? We have a joining tab with information about membership, etc. And of course, that's where you can also renew your membership online. And of course, we do sell not only our books and publications, but other items as well. And there's the online shop. And as I said, there'll be more about the shop in a few moments. So, I don't know how many people in this room have actually looked at the website and indeed have logged in and looked in more detail at the information that is available when you log in as a member, as opposed to just looking at the information that's there for members of the public. It's very easy to do so. You put in your username and password and click on the login button. Pretty obviously, if you haven't registered, you can do. There's a new users only, click here to register. And as I said to you, I will cover that subject in a moment. But pretty obviously, when you're logged on, you know you're logged on because your name is shown in the upper right-hand corner. It looks like that. So having logged on, if you have got the details wrong in here, then pretty obviously you get told with a user-friendly message. And of course, if you've forgotten your login details, you can click on the red link there, the forgotten login link, to then enable you to get the information that you need. So I'll do that now. I'll click on that. That gives you the opportunity then to, if you've forgotten your password, you can get that sent to you based on your username, if you can remember that. If you've forgotten both of them, of course, as sometimes happens, you just put in your family name and your contact ID. The contact ID, all of us who've registered on the website have a contact ID, and you'll find that it's included on the address sheet that goes out with the London Philatelist. Your contact ID is on there. So having put that in, you can then click on Send Username, and the Society will email you your details to your email address. Once you've received your email reminder, you can then click to log in. Now, as I said, if you haven't already registered, then you can click on the register link. Pretty obviously, we allow people who are not members who want to register. We have that facility, but today, given that we're all members, I'm not going to dwell on that point. I'm going to dwell on how, as an existing member, if you haven't registered already and you want to, how do you go about it? So the first simple step is click on I'm an existing RPSL member and click on the Continue button. You can then put in your family name and your contact ID, because even if you haven't registered on the website, the fact that you're registered as a member means you have a contact ID. So by filling that in, along with your preferred username and your own chosen password, which you have to put in twice. If you're not sure whether the username is unique, you can check availability by clicking on that link. That will then quickly go and check the database to make sure that you're not deciding that your name is Mark Bailey at hotmail.com, for example. It will check the availability and will advise you as to whether what you've specified is unique. So, as I said, when you are logged in, your name is shown at the top. And I'm now going to just look at something specific to do with handouts and videos that is on the members homepage, because when you log in as a member, you get access to the members homepage, which, as you can see, does not have the same content as the main page, because it obviously has things pertinent to members only, including a statement about whether your subscription is up to date.
Top of the first page.
Mine is the good news, and I hope everybody else can say the same.
Say if it's not up to date.
Yes.
Oh yes, it will. Should we just no? Should we just check? No. But it does. You're absolutely right, Grace. It does actually indicate if your subscription is outstanding, so if it's overdue. So, as I said, the content that's on this page is reserved for members only. So we see things like the ability to check and amend your personal details. The fact that we're having a dinner later this year in New York, and also recent society news. In this example, given that I put this slide together a month or so back, the next meeting on that at the time was the one that Ian Anderson and Jeremy Martin did. And the handout was online. But there's also recent meetings, and that obviously views all handouts and videos of meetings in the past 12 months. So if we look at that, that's a typical example of what you see. And there are links on there. Not only is there a sort of the program stated, but there's also links where you can look at the handouts that were prepared. So there's a couple of examples there. The handouts obviously for the 5 p.m. meetings as well. And most usefully, as I'm sure you're aware, our 5 p.m. meetings are videoed and recorded and made available through YouTube. And there are links to all of them from this page. So one can click here to see Mike Roberts' presentation about Falkland Islands, etc. Yeah, the different ones are there. And sometimes there are links to slides that have been used in the meetings. Some of our presenters allow their slides to actually be made available for subsequent viewing online. With regard to those videos, it's interesting, and Mark Copley put this data together for us. What Mark did was he had a look at the footfall figures for the meetings that have been held here last year, you know, based on all the names that are in the book downstairs, the members' book. And you can see that for each of the meetings during the year, whether it was a 1 p.m. or a 5 p.m. meeting, there's good numbers. Minimum there was 68, the maximum was 231, and on average there were 115 people who attended the meetings physically in this room. But when we add in how many viewings there have been of those 5 p.m. papers on the videos, exactly. That was our reaction as well, wasn't it, Frank? Wow. This is the point, that the online viewing of videos allows not only those who couldn't make it on the day because of geography or whatever they couldn't get here, or even those that want to see it again, because sometimes it's useful to look back at what's been said. Our digital services, in this case, our online provision of these videos, really does make a difference. It allows far more people to view and enjoy that, and take benefit from those 5 p.m. meetings. I mentioned also that I was going to talk a little bit about Society Business. You get to the Society Business page from the RPSL tab, and you know Society Business is the one over on the right-hand side. So you click on that, and that takes you to the landing page. Now that landing page is only available if you've logged in. If you try to go there and you haven't logged in, you get this informative message. What you see here depends on who you are, because certain members, obviously, of the society are representatives, or they're council members, system administrators, people with different functions have access to different information here. But what I've presented there is the full list of all the things that are currently there. Depending on who you are, you won't necessarily see all those links. But the point is you'll see links appropriate to your position within the society. An obvious example being, as it says there, member downloads. Yeah, member information, accounts and AGM reports. Those are available to everybody. Who are members? Absolutely, because you have to be logged in to see that page. And Frank's absolutely right. Yeah. I promised you I'd look at a bit more about the online shop. It has its own little tab on the website. And again, if you're logged in, you get slightly different links here than if you're not logged in. But the point is, it takes you into the online shop. Now, the things that we sell have been categorized in various ways. You can, if you want to, search by a specific category, or you can leave it open and just leave it to all categories. You can fill in your search term in the search box and then click the search button, and it will look for things matching whatever term you've typed in there. Or you can use the advanced search, and I'll demonstrate that in a moment. So with the advanced search, you can search by product name, category, its ID if you know what it is, its code if you know what it is, or you can search the description of the thing, whatever it might be, using whatever words you want to put in here in this box. And that's what I did in this example. I was looking for things that were limited edition. So I put in the term limited edition and I clicked on search. And as it happens, the only thing we sold that had limited edition in its description was this Eurofil X limited editions sheet from last year's event. As it happens, you can also get that as a category merchandise, and also, of course, I could have searched for it using FEPA. It would have obviously found that as well. Having found an item that you want to buy, you can add it to your shopping basket by clicking on Add to Basket. And when you do, this little message pops up to let you know that, yep, it's been added to your basket. Having seen that message, of course, you can click on the hide link to take that message off the screen again, so it's not cluttering up the screen. Some of the products that we sell have a member price and a non-member price. And as we're aware, that's one of the benefits of being a member, is that we can buy certain things at reduced price. Here's an example, the book by Geoffrey Lewis about the Anglo-French Postal Convention. That's the normal price, that's the member's price. And you see how in the shop it shows you both prices. The fact that I was logged in as a member, it showed me the member price, therefore it crosses out the non-member price. Some items, of course, because of how popular they are or how limited the print run is or something, that type of thing, we sell out of them, of course. Sometimes things happen that we sell out of. In that circumstance, the website tells us that when we're looking at it. Obviously, you can't buy it, so there's no Add to Basket button, but at least you're aware that the thing exists, and also that now it's reached the point where unfortunately we're sold out of it. Some items that we sell through the shop are not actually RPSL items. There's very few examples like that, but this was one example where the Swaziland Philately book, as an e-book, you couldn't buy that from the society. You had to go direct to the organisation that published it, and so there was information in the shop telling you how to obtain it. That's as much as I wanted to say. Before we move on to Jeff's presentation, has anyone got any questions about the... Yes, James.
Use my phone, please,
Just an observation, really. When you go on and look at a 5 p.m. presentation, you're also able, if you've got the right software, you can actually download it onto your laptop or device to save it to watch at a future time. So you can actually download and save them.
Okay.
There is a problem I have encountered, and I talked to Mark Copley about it. He said it probably YouTube, is that some of them you don't get the sound through. If you're watching it, you can get the sound through, but then you want to save it after that. For some reason, the sound doesn't come out. Haven't managed to solve that one yet.
Right.
But so there's you can have the soundless one or the sound one.
Yes.
But you can
the
certainly
silent version.
Yeah, but you can certainly download them for later.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for that. Anybody else? No? Okay, thank you. I'd like to hand over to Jeff then, please.
Thank you.
You know what you're doing, I don't.
Good. I hope the Croydon Society don't mind their photograph being put up there, but it was taken when I gave a display to Croydon. What I'm going to talk about is something that really in many degrees is a labour of love. I've been at it now 12 years with John Wills, and we've sweated blood over it in various forms, but it's looking quite good, the archival edition. Now, last year we did change the whole design of the archival edition of the London Philatelist because of problems we were having maintaining the old version, which was no longer properly supported by Microsoft, and we were having difficulties with Acrobat constantly changing its user interface, and it was costing us money every time. So we have the new version now. Now let me just remind you about the archival edition of the London Philatelist. It is a facsimile of every page of every issue of the London Philatelist there has ever been, and it now comes out at around about 35,000 pages. All the data has been properly indexed and is in a truly relational database, and consists of 23,000 articles that are in the database, and we have round about 15,000 authors, and you can search for all those things. Now, how do I get rid of this? Frank says he's going to count how many times I say what I'm going to say now. Never give a display using someone else's computer and various other... Right. So the other person that's worked with me all the time is John Wills, and it was the company for which he was the financial director that initially did the scanning for us. There were complaints, mainly from Frank, I have to add, about the previous version, that he couldn't get his mind around the Boolean connectives, and he did mathematics, you know. Can't be helped. So what does it do? It allows you to search every issue of the London Philatelist, and I've now made it a very simple search screen. It's not at all difficult to do it. So if you want to search for an author, and this is the only time I'm going to type anything, I've canned all the rest, and I can't see the keyboard, but there's someone who you might have heard of here, to it myself. There's nothing like blowing your own trumpet, nobody else does. So here we have an article at the top that I wrote, the very first thing, and you can view the article. These are the research results, 24 of them. You can view the article, and we have a little trouble that it doesn't always fill the screen. That's not to do with the program, that's to do with the system I'm on. So you see, this is it, and you can scroll through the whole of the text and admire it. And you should admire it, because you're going to see the facsimile edition now, which you will more than admire, because I got the Taplin Medal for this one. Now, in the early issues, up to when we first went out, there are no links from the title page to the actual article. What we do now, there are links from here, and just click on the title and get it. So you have to go to the bookmark to get the article, and we get rid of all that, and we can get rid of all that, and here's the paper, and you can scroll through the paper like you can through any other PDF. All the PDFs are completely accessible, standalone, without you going through the search program or anything like that. There are a lot of them though. So now we would like to get rid of that and go back to the search program, and we will do another search. So let's look at the search results first of all. You get everything that I've put in the LP, and a lot of them are adverts for the archival edition, which, if there's anyone that hasn't got one, he doesn't get out of the building today without having bought one. And we've got the heavies downstairs, don't worry. So we want to narrow this search because you've got far too much there, and you'd like to see everything that I've done on India. So you can say narrow the search, and this has got rid of the bit that used to confuse people before. Very simple things. You can either have a new search, narrow the existing search, or widen the existing search. So we're going to narrow it now. Now I've stored all the searches so you don't have to see me pathetically keying, but I'm going to look for anything that has got a content of India, and I can find that here, I hope, yes. And I will now run the search. So every time you do a search, it saves the search. So you can, when you've got yourself in a mess, you can go back and start again. Now the golden rule with doing any search, as I tell you, even on the internet or anywhere else, make the search simple to start with, and then make it more restrictive. And it's the best way to go about it. So you see the 6 papers I've written on India there. Now you may wish to say, well, what else has been written on India? And so we go back and we will widen the search now, and I just look at the search history, and we're going to widen it, and we pick this one, and we run the search again, and you find there's 199 articles that had India in the title. I should have shown you a little feature, this always happens of course, that there is in the previous one, so let's go back here, let's hope it works. Run search. Now, it didn't get exactly what I wanted. no, we'll ignore that. Let's go for another search history. Sorry about this, folks. In the article, no, that was the one I wanted. In the article content, we'll run the search and we'll go down to the end here where you see my name, compound plate, printed India mails. And we view the article, and you notice that the search argument, we said, look for all occurrences of India in the body text, and you see them highlighted here. If you keep doing searches, trying to narrow it down, put in different things in there, say you do India, and then you think, oh, I better really look at the states, and you put states in. Unfortunately, it only highlights one of the search arguments. It was too much to get it to do anymore. I'm sorry about these things keep dropping off the bottom. It's a weakness of the system I'm on. Yes, dear. Oh, was that someone in pain who made the arm just then? Yeah, you're not supposed to nibble whilst we're doing this. Now, let's look at something a bit more complicated on the search. And this is what really tended to cause trouble before, because we had some what are called Boolean connectives, although I tried to camouflage them as if they weren't. So let's look at all papers written by that great philatelist and friend of mine, Alan Drysdale. So we'll run a new search on Alan Drysdale, or view search history here, sorry, and we run that search on Alan, and we get 41 papers. Now, I do know that Alan has done some work in collaboration with Gerald Satin, so we look at the search history again, and we're going to narrow the search here to ones including Gerald Satin. So we run the search again, and we've just got 3 papers now involving Gerald Satin and Alan Drysdale. And if we view the original article, you can see it's Satin and Drysdale that have done this, and we've lost the bottom line again. So we want to even narrow it further. So we come up to view search history, and the 3 of them did a paper, John Dixon, Alan Drysdale, and Gerald Satin. So we run the search and we get only 1 paper, and view the article. And there you've got the 3 authors. Now you can do that narrowing down, not just by author, but you can do it by material that is either in the title or anywhere else in the document. So that's the essence of the archival edition. It is a beautiful piece of work, a labour of love, and you've only got me doing it for 2 more years, because the last time I do it is the year that I'm 80, and I'm 80 in 2017, and we're looking for a replacement. And just don't rush to shove your hands up or come and ask me, because it's embarrassing to be mobbed. Now this comes to you at, it's as cheap as chips, this one. If you already have a copy of the archival edition, please raise your hands. Come on, who's got a copy? Well, it's better than I thought. I can see people like a vice president that hasn't got one there. Shame on you. And they don't go free to officers of the society. So if you already have a copy, then it's 10 quid, and you get updated to the new system for 10 quid. Now, you can't go and buy 2 pints of beer around here for 10 quid. And you'd think you were buying trash if you were buying philatelic material at 10 quid. So let's have your 10 quids coughed up today. If you haven't bought it, it's 30 quid, I think. Is okay. There you are, the prices. When we first priced it, it was priced out of this world, but I was considered to be far too lowly and junior to have any say in the pricing. I think it was 180 quid, and I knew we wouldn't sell it at that price, but we did sell about 300. But you should have a copy. There's no doubt about that. And the ladies downstairs are waiting to sell you either the complete edition or the update at these very modest prices. I mean, I took my daughter, 2 grandchildren, myself, out in Oxford to lunch yesterday in the Lamb and Flag, and it cost 35 quid excluding the drinks. So, no, it wasn't that bad. Now, what I've shown you there and what my colleagues brought up was just the archival edition, but I will remind you that every month an e-version, an electronic version, a PDF of the full issue that's just come out that month is available to members on the website. You can download it and it's beautifully indexed and everything else, and a joy to have. And what's more, you put it in your iPad and you've got it with you all the time. You can load all this in your iPad, and the iPad never gets any heavier. Choose how many documents you put in it. But besides that, there is another seminal work that seems to be being ignored these days. Or I should say we've had 2 large gold medals off this one. One an international one and one that didn't go in Frank's list because it wasn't international. There's the museum, the catalogue I did there. I organised it all. The photographing was done by an outside photographer with Alan Drysdale, Ken Dorr and myself doing the photographing, and then Paul Skinner from the British Library, he wrote all the definitions. We sweated blood over 5 years doing this, I tell you. And it's available to you at a modest price of 26 quid. No, ignore that for some reason. That includes VAT. But there are other seminal works. And there's a very, very nice work, and we have all the material that was used in making this work, and it's Alexander Seffi's An Introduction to Advanced Philately. That comes to you at the modest price of 6 quid. And I do recommend it to you. It goes into the whole aspect of stamp production, and it's very well done. And we used to have a display here that seems to have disappeared now of all the metal artifacts for printing, all the examples in it. And then another labour of love, which we'd hoped to merge with the museum catalogue, but we didn't for various reasons, is the Perkins Bacon collection. And this consists of the Creek and Wright catalogue, the first catalogue ever, then the Philbrick and Westerby catalogue, and Philbrick and Westerby references everything in Creek and Wright. And then there's the, who was the president? Sorry? But Sir Edward Denny Bacon, his 2 volumes are there, and they index and reference to everything that's gone before. And we finish with the 2 volumes of Percy de Worms, which again is linked and indexed back. And every footnote is linked in the text to where it should, to where the footnote refers. And that comes to you at a modest price of 11 quid, and I've been asked if I would put in a new, what's the bit that you sent me the other day?
The 1935 supplement.
The 1935 supplement. Now I'm expecting good sales of this today to make it worthwhile putting the supplement in. So I don't want to see any of you leaving this building without a memory stick. Everything comes on a memory stick except these. The archival edition comes on a memory stick because most of you no longer have CD or DVD readers. So there we are, epic work, labour of love, sweat and blood, fingers worn to the nails, and please support it.
Thanks, Jeff. What Jeff didn't labour as much as I hoped he would was the fact that this product equally is happy on both Apple, Mac and PCs. And that's really important point. So there's one price covers both.
And on your iPad. You get it for free on the iPad. But it will go on all machines. The performance is slightly different on the iPad, but we're looking at whether we can do a better version of it, but it may involve you having to buy it through the Apple Store that we don't want to have to do. Thanks for that, Frank.
Thank you. And we're not doing too bad at all.
Well, he was looking at his watch that much, I was getting nervous. I just stopped.
And we're going to finish off with Mark Copley, who knows an awful lot more about this subject than the rest of us added together. So, Mark, would you please entertain us with scanning? Thank you.
Right. So we have at the Royal we have 2 scanners, and I'm going to quickly go through the capabilities of both of the scanners. So we have a walk-up scanner. This is called a Plus Tech, and it can scan JPEGs and TIFFs up to 600 dpi and pages up to A3 size. It can save to USB sticks, memory sticks, and as you can see, there's a touchscreen monitor there which you use to actually control the scanner. It's really good for medium-sized books and for modern books, i.e. books are fairly robust, and where you have doing just a few scans, basically. It's located in the reprographics area, just by the admin office. Now, if you want to do more scans than just a few, then I would recommend actually plugging a laptop into this. So just come and ask a member of staff, and we can arrange that for you. So that's the walk-up scanner, which is basically for members' use. We also have the Bookeye overhead scanner, and we recently got this from a generous donation last year, and that's a picture of it there. This can scan, again, 600 dpi, JPEGs and TIFFs, and we can create PDFs, or we can create PDFs outside of the program. But importantly, it's A2 size. And as you can see here, you've got a V cradle, and which is really good for, obviously, for books. You're not putting pressure on the actual spine itself. And what's more, you can scan 200 dpi in just a matter of seconds, and 600 dpi in about 14 seconds. And that's the full A2 size. So really, this is for large-scale projects where you want to run through and do lots and lots of scanning in one project. And we're actually using it for RPSL projects. And so what might these projects be? Well, we want to increase the digital content on the website, so members, wherever they are, they can access the RPSL material. And so by scanning the library and archives especially, this allows us to increase our access to the collections. But we're also scanning some of the historic books, and the Publications Committee want to actually publish these as RPSL publications. For example, Rising Creek, 1899. And so the cradle and the high quality scans actually assist in this. But also, we're offering scanning services to other philatelic societies. And we do this in 2 ways. Either we can do the scanning for you, in which case there will be a charge for this, but it's below market rate, essentially. Or if the other society wants to supply a volunteer, they can come here and do the scanning, and what we ask is for that, then they actually do some scanning of RPSL material in return. So this is an excellent opportunity for other societies to use this bit of equipment. And any questions?
Can I make an observation? The whole of the archival edition was scanned on the A4 Plus Tech. And this is a somewhat better version than we used then, but I've got one at home, and you can be very, very productive with them.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to use the scanner?
For the overhead scanner, it's about 50p per scan, which is the A2 size.
The other more ordinary.
And the other scanner is free for members. So if you just come in with your memory stick, or you can buy one in the office, and you can plug it in and scan as you are. Well, there are signs by the scanner and by the photocopiers to remind members that not to scan. When you're scanning, it's the same in terms of copyright. It's the same issues as to when you're photocopying. So you can only scan or copy a certain number of pages. Generally, the guidelines are 5%, but actually it's quite fluid. So normally that's a chapter in a book or an article in a journal, for example. Please don't breach copyright laws. That's the main thing.
Can you wait for the microphone, please? Because unfortunately they don't pick it up on the internet otherwise. Just me, it won't work.
They don't pick it up. Is it possible on the A2 to handle maps?
Yes. Now, because of the cradle on the scanner there, that cradle can fold down to be flat.
Right.
But you bear in mind there isn't a flat glass plate above it, and so if the map is big and got creases in it, some of the creases may be reproduced. But the best way is just bring it in and we can have a look for you.
Right, that's super, thank you.
Can you scan it lower than A2 size? Yeah, so the scanner, so the question was, can you scan it lower than A2?
Yeah.
And you can, but the actual machine scans the full A2 bed, essentially, and then we crop within the program to whatever you require. So there's no, unlike other scanners, there isn't a preview or a pre-scan where it scans everything first and then you outline the area you want to scan. So you basically, you put the material down and it scans. It's so quick, actually. Yeah. It's actually it's more time efficient by doing it this way.
Right.
If you Google Bookeye on the internet, then you get a stunning video demonstration of how it all works, and it truly has to be seen to be believed. It's an amazing piece of kit. Another question, Hall.
Thank you, Frank. Just an observation that thanks to Mark and his excellent people, the British Society of Australian Philately is having the whole of its back numbers of its journals scanned, and they will be made available via the Royal website as well.
Thank you. Any more for any more, or do you all want a cup of tea? What I will finish off by saying is, first of all, thank you to Mark and Jeff. That was wonderful. And you hit them. Oh, you're a minute early. Do you want to talk again, Jeff? But seriously, the three speakers, I'm sure, will be delighted to take any questions downstairs. And in fact, if you're really, really keen, then I'm sure Mark Copley could be convinced to actually give you a little demonstration upstairs if you really want to see exactly how the book is nodding. Thank you. Right, Jeffrey.
Just say that the ladies downstairs are waiting with hands full of memories. They're taking our money off you.
Basically, Jess says, go and buy one. Thank you very much indeed. Enjoy your cup of tea. And I'll see you all back here at 5 o'clock. Thank you.